Hey guys, thought I'd share a little thing that I've learned because I'm finding it very powerful and useful in my journey of healing, and I guess I'll find it powerful and useful in my life in general from this day forward. So self-care is something I've struggled with, and by that I mean I've felt a lot of pressure doing what we do in Tanzania, and that's led me to push too hard, to work too hard, and to feel too responsible for too many people, predominantly the children. And that's made me really neglect myself. That and the fact I've had a past relationship that was negative with an aspect of what I would deem my flesh. I've had a serious error in the way I've been doing things. And we do need to overcome the misbehaving flesh. I'll stick by that. I always will teach that. I always will practice that. But you also need to love your flesh, because you can't experience your spirit. You can't experience service without it. The joys, the love, everything of life that's great, you can't do it without your flesh. But it's when the flesh becomes negative and misbehaves, that's when you've got a bit of a battle. But I lost sight of that. And I was a little bit too negative with my flesh. And because of that, I wasn't looking after myself well. And I pushed myself too hard. Now, I could have gone to a doctor over a year ago when I first started getting fatigue. It was over a year ago I said to Fritzy, something's very wrong with me, something deep inside me. I'm tired in my bones, which is something I used to say when I had malaria. I said, something's not right. Deep inside me, something's not right. But I didn't check anything because I just kept pushing forward, thinking it'll sort itself out. What I've realised now is I wasn't looking after myself. But what I've done to tackle this is something I'm calling the plant method. And I've adapted it a bit. And what I took it from a doctor who I listened to. And the idea is that you imagine yourself as a plant. And then you imagine everything that plant needs. The sunlight, the water, the good soil, the good nutrition. All of those things that it needs every day to keep being that plant. To be able to reproduce, procreate, to keep growing. It needs all of these things. And if I had that plant in my house and I starved it of sunlight, would I expect it to grow? Or would I expect it to start seeing it wilt? And if I didn't give it a big enough pot, would I expect it to grow? If I didn't water it? And in doing that, I've started to be able to address my self-care better. And then I adapted that, and Fritzy and I came up with, imagine I'm an employee of myself, and I was making my employee work as much as what I am, or I was just observing my employee working as much as I am. What would I do? I'd force them to take a holiday. And if I was making someone work that much, then I'd be a pretty rough person, is what I decided. I'd be a very bad boss, ultimately. And this has helped me to start addressing self-care in a different way. I've taken myself out of the equation and started looking at myself as a plant initially, which is bizarre, I know, but it works. For me, it works, and I just wonder if it's a tool others might be able to do as well, because I think many people in service, many people not in service, even families, when you're looking after your kids, it's easy to forget yourself, and then you start to wonder why your health might be slipping. And if you just look at yourself as a plant, are you giving yourself sunlight? Are you giving yourself enough space? Are you giving yourself enough water? And of course it's not literal, it's metaphorical. Am I resting enough? Am I getting enough John time? Am I getting enough family time? And the more I've adapted and implemented this, the better it is for myself. And it's really helping me with self-care. And I'm learning so much from this period of sickness that I can't help but see a ton of benefits from it, because I've got the rest of my life in Tanzania and I need to learn fast how to cope with that. I really do. And I think this is how I'm going to perceive my stint of illness, is God teaching me just that. You have got a long and hard task on your hands. To be sick for a little while now, I will learn all the lessons that I'm learning. I'm learning how to respond to stress better. I'm learning how to self-care. All of these things are so important. If I've got a lifetime of doing what I've got to do, 4 years have burnt me out. So if I try to go a lifetime at that sort of pace, I'd have ruined myself, my health, everything. I probably would have ruined the children's village. So learning a lot. And I'll go through these tools and speak about my experience, but this is something like right now that I'm using a lot. I'm imagining every day that I'm a plant, and am I getting everything I need for that plant to grow? And if that plant was in my care, what would I do different? Would I put it out in the sunlight more, meaning can it stay in bed a little longer? Would I give it more water, better nutrition, a larger pot, and more space to grow? Instead of pushing myself into a little box where I can't have space to grow because I'm too busy working all the time, answering emails, etc. So, beautiful technique. Works for me. Maybe it'll work for one of you who's listening to me. But self-care and self-love, so important. So easy to forget. So easy to forget. Especially for those of us who have walked on the wrong side, I think, of the line, so to speak. A saint is a sinner who never gave up. I'm not saying I'm a saint by any measure, except my surname, Saint Julien, of course. But what I mean by that is when you've been the sinner, when you have been all things unholy, then you meet all these innocent people who you're working for. All those children in Tanzania have never done a thing in comparison to the stuff that I'd done. So sometimes it felt like a fair exchange, that my flesh would be punished, that I would carry that cross. But it's not how it works. It was my error. And God's taught me self-love. Because when I have that, I can serve those children better, more efficiently, more effectively, and for longer. And that's the song of my heart. It's what I want more than anything. So, to help all those little faces who I'm yet to meet, and I'm missing dearly the ones who I have met. So, God bless, guys. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it really helps us to grow the channel and with it help more children here in Tanzania. Also, don't forget you can support our work by sharing with children in crisis here, be it sharing for a particular need or even sharing one-on-one support for education, housing, food and medical care. It can be done for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a week back in the West after all. Just visit www.sharetanzania.co.uk to find out more. Lastly, remember you can also support us via Patreon, www.patreon.com/featherstail, and help keep us here in Tanzania to continue our work. The links for the website and for the Patreon are in the description box of this video. Love and light, guys. See you soon.